Yes, guys, and a welcome from me. This is Championship Manager 0102, the king of the dugout. The very, very latest. Okay, we have now concluded all of transfers. Now, the only thing left to do is that one team has two loans to pick from their parent club. And that's the interesting thing is, that's all that's left in respect of squads. So, once I've got that, I can then release an unofficial save. The guys can then decide, make sure I've got everything correct, that there's no errors, and then we can release an official save, and we can almost pretty much get the ball rolling. With regards, let me just pull up. With regards, King of the Dugout, I'm going to mention a few things now. Then before we go through everyone's team, mention a few things. Tactics. Now, as I've stated before, I'm just reading someone's message here. Tactics. Anybody can send. They can send me their specific tactics. It's not going to be like before where you unlock it. Any tactic you can send me, and as you can see, I've already received 3 tactics from 3 of the guys. Now, the tactics must be non-wibwob, and they must also consist of at least 3 at the back and 2 wide players. And that way they can do their own individual instructions and stuff, because I'm not fucking around with all that shit. So that's one thing, the tactics. Now, the next thing is we have got stadium development out and about at the minute. Now that all the transfers are gone, depending on what people have got left, they've got an opportunity to use the rest of their money on stadium increases. Let me remind you that in Division 3, where the guys are all starting, it is 200 grand for every 1,000 increment increase. So everybody starts with a 1,000 capacity. So if someone's got a spare 200 grand, they can chuck that in and get another 1,000. Now, the reason it's important is because in Division 3, every home game will essentially be a sellout crowd. So let's pretend somebody doesn't build. They have a home game. They get 1,000 multiplied by £10 per ticket. So £10,000. And of course, the cost of increasing your stadium is more in the higher division, but as is the ticket price, so you can recoup more money, and so on and so on and so on. So that's stadium development as we are. Let's go to the squads now then, because one of the things I want to show you involves one of the squads. Let's start with Trevor Choi. Chicken curry. Trevor Choi. Let's have a look. It's hard to really put a point on, so we'll do it by values. Values, it's hard to say on values because I forget who it is. Someone's got a 39-year-old striker who looks fucking amazing, but he's 39, so he won't have a high value. He's got a good set of values and he's got a good variation, Mr. Choi. He opted for one player on loan. Now, one thing I will say, there is a couple of flaws in the game that I'm still trying to work out on a fix, but it is what it is. We're going to find flaws, and there's 2 flaws on a player, and one of which is at Trevor Choi's team, and it's this guy here, Thomas Tulakas. For whatever reason, he keeps starting the game as Polish/English. He's not English. It's not even English in the editor. I've tried all these things on the editor. He keeps coming up as just Polish/English. So therefore, he is an EC, but he is an EEU, but he's not I have to be clear about the EEU ruling. More about that in a moment. But there's 2 players that bug seems to be coming on. Okay, so a good squad then from Trevor Choi. Over to Jesper Ronman, one of our favourites. A lot of pressure for Jesper Ronman. He's got a much higher value team, no doubt about that. And I think give him credit where it's due, because let me remind you that Jesper Ronman, our AC Run Mansion manager, is the holder. He is a King of the Dugout #1 seed, which probably puts him under a little bit of pressure, but he's got an absolute remarkable team. He really has. Now, let me remind you also that these injuries here are based on this save. When I make an official save, it's just bad luck. If no one has got an injury start going into a save, it's just completely randomised on this injury. If somebody did have a long-term injury built in, I would have removed it. So yeah, he's got a very good setup indeed. Over to Football Heritage, Connor Marchbank. Let's have a look at his values. He's got a good set of values, Connor, and there's a few players that I really like that he's got. Jeff Pitcher is definitely one of them. I think we've all got history of players where we think, fucking hell, what a legend and stuff. But there's one particular player, and that is that guy. And I've mentioned him before on one of these videos. Onesimo, what a fucking player. But he has really got some great players. And he's got a nice variation as well. I say variation, I mean very, very heavy-handed in defence, Connor. And probably a little bit, didn't really pay attention to that before. He's got, I don't know what his formation is going to be, but you can see he's got very straightforward midfielders. He's lacking quite a lot of attacking midfield, but we shall see. Over to Lee Sharples, Fritzl Palace. Let's have a look at his versatility across the board. He's got a bit here and there. He's got a lot of defence, but in terms of the value, well. It's a little bit worrying with his value, but I know a lot of the guys are doing a lot of tests, so don't read too much into that. Again, he's got some decent players. Good luck, Mr. Sharples. Over to Glasgow United. Now then. Firstly, an even lower value squad than what Lee Sharples has got, but a very interesting thing now then, and we had to punish William McGregor, the manager of Glasgow. On the last set of transfers, he landed a load of transfers, but as you'll see, these 3 transfers here that he landed brought him over the limit of 5 non-EUs. So, we agreed that there'd be a punishment, and the punishment was he would still pay for them, but there you see, he will not be able to play them this season. Now, he'll be fucking livid. He will be absolutely livid, because these 3 players, essentially, he cannot use. And you may be asking, well, what's he supposed to do with them? Well, all he can do with them is hold on to them for the whole season and hope that either A, CPU come in, which of course that even won't be a big bid because they wouldn't have played any games, or B, he can do a private sale. But it's a punishment for not counting. That's the bottom line. So not the biggest value team in the world, but you never know. Over to Matt. Again, not the highest value team in the world from Matt, but he's got a bit of versatility. Ironically, he's got no attacking midfield left. Everyone seems to be very heavy-handed in defence. He's all right up top as well, but nobody generally for the left wing. But he's probably, I don't think he'll be using a left winger anyway. I know what Matt's tactics likely to be. But he's very, it'd be interesting to see then from Matt. His value's not the greatest in the world either. He picked his loan players yesterday. After the transfers were concluded, he opted for his 2 loanees, which of course meant he could afford to get a 4th and a 5th non-EU, because he only had 3. Over to murder on Zidane's floor. Stuart Danton also fell victim to being punished for the filling up his non-EU quota. So he lost out on Dooley Johnson. He had to sign him. He's been given the same punishment. It is what it is for Stuart Danton. I actually think Danton's got a good setup. I think Danton's got a very good setup indeed. And he's still got a few quid as well. But the thing with Danton is the cost of these 2 players were a little bit more costly than what William McGregor has had to sacrifice. But, well, we shall see, won't we? Again, though, nice bit of versatility for Stuart. Again, defence. He's got a lot of depth over there. Nice bit in goal as well. Orange is the new black. Mark Rutgers. Certainly got a lot of versatility all over the shop. Let me see, I'm looking at 4 right-backs. More than 4 right-backs, actually. 5 right-backs. 1, 2, 3, 4 left-backs. Plenty on the wings. He's all right, isn't he? He's all right. Not the highest value team in the world, but you never know. You never know what might occur. Over to the next one. Oh, missed rolling in FC. Wayne Chester. A very, very low valued setup. But again, don't take nothing for granted, because look at that man. We all know who he is, don't we? He is a CMO 102 legend. Cherno Samba. Now, of course, this is always going to be, every time we start a new season, it will be a new save. So essentially, players won't age. Now, anyone that knows Samba and CM, Samba does turn into a fucking amazing player, but that's not going to be really beneficial. But you never know, we might be able to utilise him this season at the age of 16. Wayne's got a bit of work to do. Again, heavy in defence, plenty up top, no real wingers. No real wingers at all, so I'm going to be guessing that he's got to be. I don't know what he's going to play, but surely he's not going to be playing any wingers, because he's barely got. Well, he could use forwards on the right, but it's a little bit worrying there for you. Over to the next one then is St Helens Town, our very own Al Mo. Very, very oversubscribed in goal, I'd say. But and I bet he actually... I'm surprised he went with a goal. Mind you, he's a great goalkeeper, isn't he? Surprised he went with a goalie for loan, but he is fucking great. Now, Al Mo, I mean, he's got a bit of versatility. Again, nothing amazing on the wings, so I would probably say he's going to probably go for a narrow formation. But there is one thing I will say about Al Mo. Now, of course, I can say this openly because transfers are all done, so this can't have any effect. But Al Mo, and probably Stuart Danton, but Al Mo mostly has still got over the £1 million mark. So, as I said at the start of the video, we've got stadium increasements currently taking place, and I think Al Mo has been very, very tactical. I might be wrong, and it might just be he didn't pay attention and he hasn't spent much money, but there could well be a tactic there to bump up. I mean, essentially, he could build 5,000 on the capacity to 6,000, and he would make a lot more money going forward. So, well... That's that. And finally, Sunday Strikers. Now, Sunday Strikers, not the highest value team in the world. I said to you, there was another player who had this bug of he's a non-EU. I know he's a non-EU. Alexei Baga, he's a Belarusian, but for some reason, he too keeps popping up on every save as a Belarus/English. I've changed so much and it just, nothing works. And but he is a non-EU, but of course in terms of his quota, it says he's got 2 non-EUs, but I know he's got 3. So I've said to both the guys, they've got to allow for them to be non-EUs in case when I do the official one, they are. I mean, if that happens and they are an EU, then it's just the way it goes. I can't do nothing about it. But oops, I've gone, didn't mean to get here. But you know, it is what it is. A couple of good value players for Philippe, Big Phil. Nice bit of versatility in defence again. Few options on the wings. I think he's got a nice balance there. He's got a nice balance indeed. I mean, I actually think Backer's a great signing on that note. So, the guys are all ready now. I'm hoping Mark Whittaker will do an odds thing at some point. He might be able to utilise this video for the benefit of that. I think there's a lot of testing going on, and I will release an updated version of the save for the guys to check. Once I've got the loans in for Philippe Dirala, we're waiting for him. Now, we spoke about fines and punishment for those guys. We've got nobody on the strike club. Prize money, let me just tell you about prize money. So, the prize money, and I wrote this down earlier on, a reminder that every manager will get gate money for every home league match, and a bonus for every cup game that they win. The higher the opposition, the better. There will be no prize money for finishing positions or awards, but you will of course have CPU bids and sponsorship money at the end of the season. So I know that might go a little bit... It might irate a few people and think, what the fuck, if I win the title? But you know what, right, you've got to remember one real main thing is, let's take Chicken Curry. If he plays his opening league game, yeah, and he wins it, instantly his wage, available wage will go up. I think, without looking, I think it's £100 per win in this division. So it can go to 1,000, and that's per every win. So essentially, let's pretend he wins all his league games in August. It's only on league games, may I add. So he'll have 4 games. He could win them all. His available wage, and obviously that don't affect until the end of the season when we have a new transfer selection, but he'll have 1,400. He'll also have recouped in 2 home games, his capacity multiplied by £10. So there's a lot. There is going to be money to be made. And as I said, you get bonus money. There's nothing to do with wage on cup games. The higher the opposition, the better the bonus. And of course, it's all about that. That's another build of money. Forget what else we said. So I think we've got everything sorted. I said something to the guys, right, and I'll go to Chicken Curry as my example is. The assistant managers are very, very important. I feel anyway. We'll take Orange is the New Black as an example, different example. So when the guys sent me their team selection for the forthcoming month, for August, let's say, AI have a tendency to be motherfuckers, and they don't always, if someone is 95%, they won't pick them. So whilst Mark Rutgers would say to me, yeah, that's my team, Mike, and then a player is 95%, AI tend to think, right, well, we won't pick him. But now all the guys have all got assigned assistant managers that we did a wheel on. So they've all got quality assistant managers who hopefully will play a part and prevent shit players getting the nod in certain games. I mean, there you go. That's a great example there. David O'Leary, what a fucking player. And who was it now? I think it was St Helens, St Helens, that was a familiar one. That's the one. No, Tommy Taylor. Kenny Dalglish, yeah, it's Kenny Dalglish. Another great one. They're all great. I forget who got Alex Ferguson, actually. Oh, no, sorry. I think that was someone that pulled out. It was someone that pulled out. He was an assistant. Now, talking of pulling out, we have lost a manager. Adu, for his own reasons, needed to pull out the game, which is fine. It is what it is. So we are down to 11 strong. He of course, was manager of Blasphemians. But we have got 11 of our players. Now, I know what's coming up. We've got something coming up around Christmas time. We've got something coming up around the end of the season. There's a lot. There's an absolute lot. And I think we need to do a big shout out here to Mark Whittaker, who does the transfers and shit and all the wheel spinning. It must be a ball ache. And, and I said to him yesterday, you got yourself a well-deserved break now because Mark don't need to do anything for the time being. It's now, I don't know when I play CM, the exciting part, in my opinion, is the transfers ready for the new season. And especially if you're walking the division, you just want to get to the new season and get promotion, get new players and stuff. But there's so much to play for, there really is. We will make a decision on something dawned on me about these guys that are serving bans. That should Mr. Danton sell one of his other non-EUs, that maybe one of these could become available next season. I will have another discussion with headquarters about that, because we were going to give a fine, I think we said, and I think maybe the fine was quite a big amount, but I feel that maybe the punishment is quite severe enough. Some may say it's a bit, some might say you're out of order, that's a little bit too brutal. I don't think it's too brutal. Everybody knew what they had to do. They knew they had to count to 5. It is what it is. Everyone's had access to the same saves and shit like that. The loans, let me remind you about everybody's loan. It is a season-long loan. Everybody was assigned via the wheel through Mark, a parent club. And I created a club called Parent Club and moved all the players that are on loan to our guys to the parent club like that. So, because for whatever reason, for example, somebody would get a loan club and it was, we'll take Matt for example. Matt had a CSKA, and if I did CSKA, for whatever reason, it weren't working. And I think it was because my test saves, I wasn't including Russia. I think that's what was happening. So Bokov. So I decided to just move them to a parent club and do it like that. I felt that worked better. Good player there, by the way, Matt. Let me remind you that players on loan, I have applied a thing in it where no one can sign a player on loan, so none of them can be sabotaged, which is, I think, is a very, very important concept. And I think it's a very, very exciting time. It really is. So current finances. Let's have a quick gander now. Then everybody's current finances. I said to you, so. St Helens Town, they've got over the 1.3 million mark. Almo could essentially get himself 6,000 seats if he wishes. Well, that's up to him. Matt won't be able to buy any seats. He's got less than 200 grand. William McGregor has got over 400 grand. He could take 2,000 if he wishes. Nothing for Lee Sharples. Trevor Choi, Chicken Curry, he's got 345 grand. He can take 1,000. Philippe Dirala, he's got just under 200 grand, so he's not going to be able to get any. Stuart Danton has got nearly $1 million, so he can get essentially 4,000 if he wishes. Nothing for Mark Rutgers. 1,000 at best for Connor. 3,000 at best for Wayne at Oh Mist Rolling. And Jesper Ronman has got just over $500,000. He can get himself 2,000 if he wishes. Now, of course, the guys are going to need to really take into account their squad size, because at the end of the season, you all know how CPU bids work. They work on a number of factors. Firstly, it's done as a wheel, I think, one striker, something like that, and then of course it'll be based on the value of them in the game, multiplied by various things like an X amount times their goals, an X amount times their assists, and so on and so on and so on. So that is that then. That is where we are at. And, you know, it's interesting. I forget who it was that had Simba. Who was it that... There it is. It was Jesper Rodman. 39... And I think he is fucking amazing. He's going to be absolutely amazing. Now, I should point something out. For the benefit of someone like Simba and anybody else that this might happen to, but very likely to Simba, he may well retire mid-season. He could retire after 1 week. Now, if he retires, I'm going to be really honest here and brutal. If he retires, tough shit. It's tough shit. It will be tough shit. But don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean he's retired from next season, because remember, we start a new save. So Simba will be back in again. So I think Jesper's just got to hope, hasn't he? He's got to hope. Now, unless I need to obviously check a few things, but let's go to Connor as an example here. Apart from the loanees, every player is on until 01, 07, 09. That way, everyone has the same with regards CPU bids. If it is based on someone's value, the value can be different if someone's got a higher contract than the other. So everyone is on the same contract, just to make things a little bit easier. And whilst the loanees, as you can see, they are slightly different, but loanees are loanees, so that's all good. So they're strikers. There you go. So I might have missed one or two, which is what I need this for, to be honest with you. People for feedback, that sort of stuff. I have released a picture of everybody's squad. 2 pages, apart from Philippe, who I'm still waiting on. So, you know, we are good to go. We are all good to go. And it's going to be very, very exciting indeed. And that's it for me. Until the next one, which will hopefully be the start of the season. Till next time from me, guys, take it easy.